The djembe and dunun drums of Mali herald the arrival on our historical stage of the kings and warriors who were to dominate West Africa from the 13th century for more than 300 years. A roll call of men, some military geniuses, some great innovators or patrons of scholarship in the famed city of Timbuktu. Enter the Mande kings Sundiata, Sani Alibert, Mansa Musa, Abubakar II, and Askia Mohammed, kings of the empires of Mali and Songhay.
We had great kings. We traveled a lot. We had a great civilization. We have one of the biggest universities in the world in Timbuktu at the time. And for Mali, it's a very important period.
These kings were to become the stuff of legend, and their empires admired across the world for their culture and riches.
The story of Africa, history from an African perspective.
Abubakar II, often known as Mande Bure, was perhaps one of the shortest serving of the Malian rulers, who gave up his throne in pursuit of exploration and adventure by setting off across the Atlantic.
Mansa Abubakar II is the only African who has tried to go to America before Christopher Columbus.
Professor Ali Ould Sidi is the chief historian responsible for establishing the city of Timbuktu as a World Heritage Site.
So Grayas in the Mande sing songs about the history of Abubakar II and the expedition he has organized, because he sent his boats from Gambia.
Chemoko Konate is the project coordinator for an organization called the Quest for Abubakar II, set up to delve into this fascinating but controversial chapter in Malian history.
We actually don't want to bring forward the fact that Abubakar II was the first to ever cross the Atlantic Ocean. We know through evidence that the Vikings from Norway have been there long before, and also the Chinese. They have been there around year 1000. But Abubakar's crossing was around the 14th century, 13 and 12. This was some 150 years before Columbus.
Arab historians were certainly keen to relate the story of this fantastic voyage. Al-Umari wrote about this expedition as told to him by Abubakar's successor, Mansa Musa, in 1325.
I asked Sultan Musa how the kingdom fell to him, and he said, "We belong to a house which hands on the kingship by inheritance. The king, who was my predecessor, did not believe it was impossible to discover the furthest limit of the Atlantic Ocean, and wished vehemently to do so. So he equipped 200 ships filled with men, and the same number equipped with gold, water, and provisions enough to last them for years, and said to the man deputed to lead them, 'Do not return until you reach the end of it.'"
Alas, one ship did return. The captain on board reported that he turned back when he'd seen a mighty current in the open sea swallowing the other ships in a mighty wave.
But the Sultan disbelieved him. Then the Sultan got ready 2,000 ships, 1,000 for himself and the men whom he took with him, and 1,000 for water and provisions. He left me to deputize for him and embarked on the Atlantic Ocean with his men. That was the last we saw of him and all those who were with him. And so I became king in my own right.
It has been said in some books that when Christopher Columbus went back to Spain, he went along with some spares, lances, on tip of whom there was some gold. They made a lab analysis of those gold, and it revealed that this gold have the same consistency as gold found in Mande area. And also Columbus confessed that he met there some black traders were doing some commercial negotiations with Indians. These statements bring me to say that either black people have reached the American continent, or somehow the Indians came to Africa.
If Abubakar II did succeed in reaching America, it raises the tantalizing prospect that Africans and Indians had developed trading links 600 years ago, more than a century before European explorers claimed to have discovered the Americas. Yet, as exciting as this story is, the custodians of oral history in Mali have been silent about an African landing in America before Columbus.
The griots didn't see what Abubakar II did as a deserving act. For most of them, they just feel as if Abubakar II was just a traitor because he left his kingdom and he trusted someone with the ruling and went across the sea. What for? They said it's an act of betrayal.
Yet if not for the abdication of Abubakar II, the Mande would not have reaped the benefits of his successor. Mansa Musa, or Kanka Musa as he is known by some, has been described as one of the most colorful personalities in West African history. He embraced Islam wholeheartedly, and Islam came to dominate many facets of society.